was a very funny joke I've heard. If aliens were to find our keyboards long after humanity is gone, and they would have no idea what a human looks like, they would assume that humans are beings with like one arm coming out of their chest with tentacles that type all of these individual things in the center in front of them.
I could see that. Like, do you know the history of
Yeah.
that though? Like, why do we have like keyboard stagger in the first place, and like where did the original form factor of like a standard keyboard come from?
Right. Like most of this goes back to pre-computer times, to typewriters. So the designs that we still use to this day are typewriter designs. So where every single key had a hammer under it, and that hammer physically hit a ladder onto a piece of paper. So the hammers can't be aligned with each other because then they would interfere. So you would want to have hammers always shift next to each other.
Right.
And the width of these hammers is what determined the exact spacing of these rows. So you would always want a certain distance between them. That distance is 0.25 U. So 1/4 of a key is 19 millimeters. And 1/4 of that is what you would want as a distance between these hammers. So you would arrange them exactly in that pattern, and that is what dictated the entire thing. So 3 rows of letters, and then the numerical row above to have your 4 rows for the hammers. And then you would just scale it up until you had the entire alphabet in it. That is basically it. And the entire like arrangement of letters is that when a hammer, like when you press a key and the hammer moves, they shift during that motion. And if you press 2 hammers that are right next to each other, the likelihood that they hit each other in that motion is pretty high.
Yeah.
So what you would want when you press 2 keys is that they're as far apart from each other as possible. So when you know that like certain keys are pressed in sequence, you put them on opposite sides of the keyboard. And that is the entire design paradigm behind QWERTY. Have keys as far from each other as possible.
I didn't know that actually.
That is why it's a really funny one, yeah. That's why QWERTY actually performs at least sensibly well compared to a fully random layout. So if you were to randomly assign keys to a keyboard, that would be much worse than even QWERTY, because QWERTY usually interchanges between your hands fairly sensibly. It's by no means perfect, but it's not as bad as random would be. And there's also some regard given to less frequent keys being in certain locations. You see that most notably with Q and Z, which are like the up and down, which even in optimized layouts, that's a sensible position. So QWERTY is not as bad as random, and it's very far from perfect, because the design paradigm had nothing to do with typing effectively or fast or healthy. But it's by no means the biggest one. And the other design paradigms, for example, the hammers or the making it one central block, those are much, much, much worse.
Right.